Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the fullness of Philly.
In a time where everything is fast paced and we rarely get time to reflect and grow as people, this channel's ethos is to help us do this while promoting that walk with Christ. So join me, beautiful people, and let's grow together.
Today is going to be the part 2 of building strong friendships, building strong relationships. But I want to let us know that it starts with who you are. Your relationships can only be as good as who you are. So if you're not growing, if you're not elevating, it's unlikely that you're going to have healthy relationships, long-lasting relationships, because these all are things that come with understanding, knowing who you are and being secure in who you are, and then your friendships are reciprocated, because typically your friends are kind of on the same level as you. Typically, not all the time, but typically. This is the continuation of the first tips. Forgiveness is vital, because in relationships, people are going to hurt you. Even people that love you. It's not people that do you wrong that are going to hurt you, that can do you wrong will hurt you. People that love you tend to even hurt you the more, because they know so much about you. They have all the ins and outs of your life, more than your enemies will. They know things about you. So you'll be thinking, even as much as you know this, you're still treating me like this, or you know all this, but you still neglect me. Or there's so many different scenarios where people can hurt us intentionally and unintentionally. Sometimes the very fact that you're making new friends can hurt your friends. You're not doing it on purpose, but it's like, where am I in this triangle? So be aware that forgiveness is a key thing that we need to have in mind. Forgiveness is something that you've got to be okay forgiving people and letting things go. You can't bottle things up and be like, I'm going to treat him or treat the way they treated me, because it would never end up well. Like, eventually it may build up so much that your relationships break down completely, or you just go your separate ways, or it just fizzles out in time. So you've got to be alright with your friend accidentally speaking to you a certain way. You've got to be alright with your friend making other friends. You've got to be all the little things that, some things are bigger issues where you have to kind of think whether you want to continue the friendship. But you should understand that people are going to hurt you. And I used to think before that, if someone really loves you, they're not going to hurt you. But no, any little thing can be a trigger for us. Any little thing can hurt us, even if it's not meant to hurt us. So you've got to be okay forgiving and really letting go of the pain, and really letting go, like, okay, cool. This is not what I want at this minute, or I know that you may have not meant this like this, or I choose to forgive you for even what you did mean. I know that you're human, and I know that you're flawed, and I know that I can't control every situation, so I've got to control me before I can control anybody else. Right. Number 2, the second tip I've got today is trying your best not to assume things. Don't assume your friend's going to be there for the rest of your life. Don't assume that your friend is... Sometimes people create a persona about themselves that makes us create an assumption about them, like, oh, this person dresses smart, so they must be rich, there's so many assumptions that we make based on what we can see. But I'm trying to reiterate here, I'm trying to remind us that we need to refrain from making assumptions. Don't make assumptions that your friend is not a good friend, or don't make assumptions that your friend may have given you this look, or store things inside because of your assumptions. Assumptions can break your relationship, because that may not be the case. The better thing is to address the situation. Let it be in plain sight. When we tend to make assumptions about people and about situations, it never really ends well, because assumptions are the killer. Like, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge everything by the way it looks. It can really not be what it seems. But if you allow that into your mind, you can cloud your judgment about everything else that person does. Haven't you realized that sometimes there are times where perhaps you can feel like your friend betrayed you in a certain area? You never actually mention it, but every time something happens, you're like, you know what? what can I expect from someone like this, that someone that did this, because of your prior assumption about them, because you never really spoke your mind about the situation, because you never really addressed it. You always kept it bottled up and making that assumption. So we cannot make assumptions. We really need to try and address everything. Honestly, I really feel like addressing it is key. It's really key. Every situation, try and address it. It can be hard though. Some things you don't want to talk about, but you really do if you want to sustain a real relationship. By the results of the interaction, you will know whether your assumptions, whether what you were thinking is correct or not. But do not keep those assumptions to yourself, because assumptions are really what kills relationships in all areas: romantic relationships, sibling relationships, family relationships, friend relationships. All these relationships, assumptions do kill it. Number 3, you've got to be okay with there may be seasons in your friendship where things change. You may not be as close with the person. I realize that sometimes people get they get butthurt. They get hurt that they're not as close with their friend as they would have liked, because of, maybe their friend has got married, maybe their friend has kids, maybe their friends are busy with their partners. But you've got to be okay with it, because eventually, if that relationship is meant for you, your friend will come around again. You've got to be okay with the fact that you could be busy. It could be you that is taking the time where I need space to do certain things. I'm not going to be as interactive in our relationship, but it does not mean the energy should change. When you guys interact, it should be all love. It should be like, okay, we have busy lives, especially as adults, it's difficult. So it's like, I live my life and I come back to my good friend and we exchange happenings of our lives. It doesn't mean that because there is distance, there should be animosity, there should be anger, there should be, just things that is bad blood in the air. Things change, things happen, and eventually you will get back to, sometimes, to be honest, sometimes the relationship does fizzle out. But like I said, if the relationship is supposed to be for you, it wouldn't fizzle out. It would just be a season where they're busy, a season where they need some space, a season where they are doing things, pursuing their dreams, pursuing their relationships, all that. And you will eventually come back. Even sometimes you find that friendships, you lose connection for like some years and you come back and it's all love. But if you kind of got angry at that moment and tried to break it, or tried to say, I don't want to talk to you anymore since you want to do this, since you want to feel like this, since you want to, exclude me, or since you want to live your life by yourself, live it properly, live it free, live it without me. So this happens a lot. It's not something that's rare. But I urge us to kind of let people go through their seasons. Eventually they will come out, they'll come back. They even, sometimes it's best for you to let them go and let them come back, because it's like you're a safe haven for them. Obviously you have to move accordingly. Every situation is different. But on a general sense, there are seasonal situations where people are not as interactive as they would love to be because of changes in their lives, changes in circumstances. Guys, that's all I got for you today. I really want us to kind of continue developing ourselves, continue loving ourselves, because from us is where the better relationships stem from. From us is where people see your action and they grow too, because they're like, Philippa has matured, Philippa is growing, Philippa is not the same Philippa that I knew 10, 20 years ago. So growth, and sometimes, even before I forget, sometimes growth does separate friendships. Unfortunately, that is the case. Again, it could be a season or it could be the end of a friendship. But then you should understand that new friends will come. It's not a like do or die issue. Unfortunately, you may have lost a good person, but there are other good people in this world. All right, my fillies, I do love you. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your girl is happy to be here again. And, like I said in my last video, subscribing, liking, and commenting really helps the flow of things. It really helps to keep me coming back to the channel. But I do love to make time to do these broadcasts, because I love for us to grow. I love for us to be mentally charged. All right, guys, I love you so much.